Gee-hoo. How's it, everybody? Bourne here, not alongside Travis Mewhirter. Travis is overseas, so I had to bring in my ringer right here, my brother from another mother, Riley McKibbin. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, brother. I'm so fired up. Dude, this is my first time solo on the podcast.
Dude, finally.
I've been pushing it off.
You really have. Only about 3 years.
Yeah.
But we got you.
Well, dude, you know what the thing is? What I do, I get to control everything in the editing room. Like, live stuff scares me.
I can send you the edit if you want. You can edit it. Go for it.
I got way too many editing projects as it is.
Yeah, that's why SANDCAST, we just throw it out there. Whatever comes out, we just throw it out to the world. Whatever happens, happens. Nah, but I'm stoked to get you on. We had Maddie on, 2 years ago, I want to say? Which is crazy that we had this podcast going so long. But I'm pretty sure we drank 3-4 bottles of wine when Maddie was on.
Sounds about right. And here we are drinking beers.
Yeah, drinking beers this time. But yeah, I'm stoked. You just walked up. You're living down the street. We're both in Hermosa Beach, finally.
Yep.
Walked up.
Dude, you know what trips me out is we're from Hawaii. Mm-hmm. Grew up together. And now we live closer. Like, all of our closest friends, we all live closer now than we did on the tiny little island in the middle of the Pacific.
Yeah, that's the one cool thing about the South Bay. The bubble, yeah?
Yeah.
Spencer McLaughlin, too, who is one of the
He's
third amigos. The crabs are down the street. That is kind of crazy. Even though
so trippy.
Pretty much lived at your house growing up.
Yeah, but now I don't have to drive to your house to pick you up.
Yeah, exactly. I can just roll down the hill, basically, which I do often with my baby girl in the stroller. So literally rolling down the hill.
It's perfect.
Yeah, we also have we both have daughters now. For those of you who aren't aware,
girl dads.
Dude, we're all
three of us. Me, you, and Spence.
We're all grown up.
Gosh,
it's insane.
I know. Up until about I guess 6 months ago, I always felt like 25. Yeah. And then now I don't anymore. Yeah.
No,
not at all. I feel my age.
The new generation coming up makes me feel so old.
Yeah.
And then actually, it's a ringer right now, in terms of just fully aging me 10 years is Phil and Jake retiring.
Dude, I know.
Because all of a sudden I'm like, whoa. I just became the veteran, the old veteran.
I don't think people understand the gravity of that last tournament with Jake retiring and then Phil and Nick announcing that they're not going to be playing together anymore. And
I was happy with how Jake got sent out. I thought that was legit. Yeah. And he needed that. He deserved that.
When was the last time we saw that for any player?
Yeah, I don't know if that's the thing.
You know what it reminded me of is that Batman quote where it's you're the hero up until a certain point where you become the villain. Right? And all too often, you see a lot of the guys, they play past their prime and then they keep playing.
Yeah.
And then they kind of, drift off.
Yeah.
Like Todd Rogers.
That's a good point.
Instead of finishing at the pinnacle, you just keep playing because, beach volleyball, you can.
Yeah.
And this was the first time in a long time where someone finished at the peak, at the pinnacle, and got a nice little send off. Which cool.
Is gnarly because most people can't be at a peak at 44 years old as a full-time blocker.
I know.
But no, yeah, it was a good send-off, but I don't know, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way, because everyone knows that first of all, Phil's still at the peak as well, obviously.
Right.
Made the freaking Olympics.
Yeah.
But he said that he's playing next year just for fun with Johnny Sutton. I don't know if the public knows about that whole thing.
I don't know.
Can tell everyone.
I don't. I don't really understand it. I can infer as to
put it this way, and I know everyone we're talking about, so they can bust me if it's not public. But basically, Phil wanted to retire. Jake and Phil wanted to retire last year, so they're all really ready to retire. But Nick Lucena was with this guy Johnny at his house, and he saw this card, Phil's dream card. Phil has a dream board, or whatever you call it, vision board, with this car on it. And he's like, that's Phil's dream car right there. And he goes, hey, Johnny, I bet you if you play with Phil next year, I bet you if you give Phil that car, he'll play with you next year. on the AVP. And Johnny goes, okay. And so Phil calls Nick. He says, hey, Johnny will give you your dream car
No way.
if you play with him next year on the AVP. And Phil's like, okay. And so Phil has the car in his garage at the moment. But I think that's the reason that Phil didn't announce his retirement and it wasn't like a big deal, is because he's playing next year for fun, like in these few events. Like you said, you want to go out on top.
Yeah.
And it would have been cool to see them have like a combined, like we're both leaving.
It's fun.
Because they've been the best, most dominant blockers the whole time, like for four freaking Olympics.
I remember we used to watch both those guys on TV when we were in high school.
Yeah.
And just like, bro, these guys are so gnarly. Like, imagine one day we could play in the AVP.
Yeah.
Boom, you're freaking.
Yeah, you're in the players'
down
tent.
now.
You're in the players. Yeah.
It's funny.
We need them to age out to freaking beat them down, which sucks.
It's funny after Jake beat Phil, I went up to him after. I was like, so is this like a last point wins situation? Because Phil's beat him like 80 times to 20 or something like that. And he's like, dang it, you should have told me that before my final interview.
Yeah. that would have been a good line. Or that would have been good at the handshake before the match. Hey,
last point wins.
Last match won, takes all. Winner takes all. But I hope Phil gets a proper send-off next year.
Yeah.
And you guys just did a video about it, right?
Kind of. We just like it was their final match, and just like all the footage that we had captured. We knew it was like a big moment. So we just like, showed the game in a little bit different way, but yeah, we got some other things planned with all that footage that we captured.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys do. You guys tend to nail the emotional moments or whatever you want to call it.
Just trying to bring like, I don't know. I think like we're just trying to show the game in a different way and bring like as much media as we can to the sport. I think.
But you guys have like such a good perspective of it, because like when I'm thinking of over the years, I'm thinking of like different moments where I'm like, oh, I wish the fans kind of knew this or knew that. Like, I feel like you guys have hit those points. Whereas like volleyball media, sports media that covers our sport, no one comes even close to nailing it.
Yeah, well, I feel like we have a very unfair advantage because we know, like, I mean, now half of our best friends are all in the top 5, in the sport. So we kind of like know the backstories. And luckily, we all played together when we were younger. And my mom, as bad as a video camera person she is, happened to have all of this old footage. So like we have this giant library of me, you, Taylor, even Trevor playing when he was younger, Madison. I mean, it's so like we have the ability to like make all of these videos without having to send a bunch of emails out, like mining for footage. It's just like we have it all.
Yeah, that's true. It would be so much harder. Like, cause when you guys made the video of me and like when I was heading to Tokyo, you guys had footage of me playing that I had never seen. Yeah. And you didn't even ask me or tell me that you're making a video of me. Yeah. Which is crazy.
That all happened so fast because we were actually making a video. I've been working on like a project on Taylor Crabb because he was going to the Olympics, right? We had just interviewed him and we asked him like, we happened to ask him what happens if you get COVID, and he's like, oh, we chose a backup.
Oh,
like,
really? You asked him that?
Yeah. And he's like, what about Jake? Trevor. And Jake, he's like, oh, Jake chose like either Try or Trevor or Kame. It was between those 3. I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's smart. And then, what are the chances that...
Oh, I would have been pissed if he chose Kame.
So we switched this like mini documentary that we were making on Taylor, and then you came out with that video on Instagram.
Yeah.
And so that like kind of strung everything together. By the way, I don't know how you talked for 4 minutes straight, and it was like all eloquent and like well said, and you hit all like the right points. I was like,
well, I didn't do it for...
This is perfect.
I did it for myself, for my own... That's how I kind of trick myself into like doing good videos. Like I press record. I'm like, I just want to like speak my mind here for myself. Yeah. I don't have to give this to anyone or show this to anyone. Yeah. So then it comes out, and then after it's like, okay, do I want to share it or not?
Oh, gotcha.
This is my authentic self screw it, just put it out there.
Yeah. Dude, it was great. So I ripped that, and then I put that in the video, and it ended up.
Copyright infringement, bro.
Yeah. We do so much of that. Like, it's amazing that YouTube allows half of all the stuff that we make, because it's
right.
Like, I would say 10% of our job is going through YouTube and like finding videos that we can
scooping.
Throw on top of it. But even like the last video that we just made, it's a 2-minute video hyping up the 4-man event that we're throwing.
Mm-hmm.
I spent like, oh my gosh, I don't even like want to talk about how much time I spent editing it, but it wasn't only editing it. It's like, all right, we're throwing this epic event. How do you like do it justice? And I've watched like so many movies that there's always like a movie component to it.
And it has to do with superheroes. Probably.
No, this one I took from Hoosiers.
Okay.
And it starts with Hoosiers, and then I freaking remixed it on the video platform, like sped it up, gave it like a drop with Bruce Buffer in the background.
Sick.
Have you seen it? Brad, it's pretty legendary video.
I don't even know if I really watched Hoosiers through, but I know it's the Indiana basketball team.
Yeah. No. This, but this video is, it's only 2 minutes. We'll insert it right here.
But you're gonna have to maybe do that, because we're not the best editors. Well, how did you like it, people? That was it. Pretty sick, huh?
But yeah, so we're throwing that 4-man event.
Dude, I got the email. First of all, and we had been talking about something for a while, and I was like, God, I hope we put something together. And when I say we, it's you guys.
Well, dude, it's that. Just to interrupt really quick, we stopped having brainstorming sessions because we realized that it's so easy to come up with good ideas, but it's so hard to execute them. So it's like, all right, let's have an execution meeting. Like, we are doing this. Let's figure out
an execution meeting rather than a brainstorm meeting.
Because like, so it really is. It's easy to come up with good ideas. It's just like, what's next?
Yeah.
And that part is so hard. But somehow we were able to get, literally 8 of the top pros from both men and women's side, fly them all out to Austin. And both those teams, or all 4 of those teams, are going to battle it out against the top 4 Texas teams.
And these Texas teams are like doing a workup tournament to get to that play-in?
So it's all going to be on the same day. We're going to start them early.
The same day.
Yeah, and they're going to have to play in like a little qualifier, and then it's straight into the semis, finals. So really, it's going to start at 8 or 9 in the morning, and it's at a bar, Aussie's Beach Bar and Grill, and it's going to probably finish around like 10 or 11, and it's going to be a full day of
epicness.
Yeah, it's going to be really good volleyball, and I think the vibe will be pretty awesome. We just started selling tickets today. Like, we put out the video, figured out how to sell tickets on our website, and it's already half sold.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The capacity can't be that much.
Well, dude, yeah, it's not that
Hopefully
much.
There's some tickets available by the time this is posted.
Dude,
I can't promise.
It's crazy how, well, it's the first time, really, maybe not the first time, but all of the AVP events are free, right? And to make this thing sustainable, so the athletes are getting paid, the sponsors are getting value, like, we have to charge.
Yeah.
And like, it's 4-on-4 with all the best players in the U.S., arguably in the world. Now there's Taylor Sander playing in it from indoor,
which I'm very glad I'm on his team.
I know. It's gonna be a really interesting tournament, and I think the Austin fans are really gonna like it. And like, the fact that it's already half sold, and it's 5:00 now on Wednesday, and we came out with it so in 5 hours, half of it's already sold. So,
yeah. I think it's going to be sold out by the time you listeners hear this.
Yeah. No. I don't know. We
show up outside the gate, standing room.
It's hard because I don't think the the bar has ever been at max capacity. So he said like, oh, this shouldn't be a problem. We're like, okay, well, is 600 people going to be all right? And he's like, whoa. Like, so there is a threshold.
Yeah, right.
So we're trying to figure that out, and it's been a mission trying to put this whole thing together. Plus, like, we told all the athletes, like, we're going to cover your flights.
Yeah.
So the ticket sales is like covering all of that, and also the buy-in from all the bars that are putting forth teams.
Yeah.
And the one spot that we're saving money though is where we're putting everyone up is in one giant mansion on the lake. All the players are staying there.
With jet skis, I heard.
Yeah, all the players are staying there together. Go. It's gonna be.
It's such a good idea. It's gonna be like freaking road rule.
I know, bro. So we're bringing like a couple of filmographers to
just be
like
there the whole time.
Yeah, stay in the house, shoot anything and everything.
Yeah.
It's gonna be an editing nightmare, but I just figure like, I mean, when has this ever happened where you put all of the best players in the world up in the same house? I mean,
the thing it reminds me of is Johnny Hayden used to tell me stories about hot winter nights.
Yeah.
Because they
I just talked to him and Hans about that.
Oh yeah, they would put them on RVs.
Yeah.
And everyone would travel together.
Bro, that's what the flyer is. There's like an RV.
Yeah,
that was the initial idea. Was we were all gonna jump in an RV and drive to Austin.
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah,
but then COVID hit and like we just couldn't make it work. Now things are like opening back up and I think, and it's all like outdoors, so it'll be interesting. It's gonna be fun. I mean, it's freaking so much really work. Cool. I mean,
I know.
It's really just me, Madison, and the owner of SharpeVision, Modern LASIK, who are putting this all together. And I mean, I didn't realize how much organization.
Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, I put on like clinics back home in Hawaii, and it was like, wow, this is a lot of work just to put on a free clinic. I can't even imagine what this is like. And you guys are doing it remotely.
I know. You gotta like, I mean, and everyone has to like make their flights and.
But like, it's a good like you're adding something to your personal resume of like.
Yeah.
Now I've put on an event.
Yeah.
You know, coordinated sponsors, athletes. Yeah. You guys already do content creation, like.
Yeah.
Your whatever you call it. Your reach is huge right now.
I think it's been pretty fun because it keeps things fresh. Like for example. This 4-man tournament, we had to learn how to sell tickets and like make it all work. So like now when you buy your ticket, it can go on your Apple Pay or whatever, Apple Wallet.
No way.
Yeah, and we just scan you in when you get to the bar.
What? You guys figured that out?
Yeah, I know. So like we're always like learning new stuff.
Oh, there's a new tour right there. Yeah. Put in a few more years and then I'm just gonna jump on the McKibbin tour.
Dude, I think like if we can prove that it's sustainable, and we've only just recently started to pitch it to sponsors. I mean, there are sponsors who are more than willing to like, we're past the point of like free stuff. Like, oh, we'll give you free product. Like that doesn't cut it anymore.
Thank God, because like when athletes do take that, it waters the market down for those who are looking for money.
But it's also just hard to know what your worth is, you know? And I mean, it totally helps when you have an agent.
Right.
Who can negotiate that for you?
Which not many people do.
Yeah, but it's also hard when you're first starting out too. Like, let's say you have 1,000 Instagram followers or whatever. It's like, how do you justify that? But like, I'm a professional beach volleyball player, so it's hard to navigate that. But I think knowing your worth is like the most important thing. So that way you can be like, I'll take these free board shorts.
Right.
When it's like, no, all right, this is what it's actually worth in the real world.
Right.
That helps.
Yeah.
At least it gives you like a bargaining.
It's really tough. I wish we had like, like I think players go to the NFL, like, and all the rookies have to go through this training where veterans come in and like certain people come in and teach them how to, handle themselves in the media.
Yeah.
There's social media specialists.
Oh, that's actually smart.
Yeah, like. I feel like there should be an initiation or like it'd be cool if we had like a players association where we all kind of take care of each other and like, hey, listen, like if you guys do this, just know the repercussions.
Yeah.
You're kind of doing, it's good to have an agent and here's why, rather than like why would I pay someone 20%?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. It's just like, I mean,
like you said, easy to come up with good ideas. It's hard to execute.
Right. Well, I think it's super important to know your worth, because it does ruin it for the rest of everyone who's, trying to make a living off of this whole goal of everything.
Why pay this guy when
you can get
this
6
other
other
guy
guys
will do it
for
yeah,
free?
6 guys will do it for free. Exactly.
Yeah. So when like everyone should be paid to some extent.
Yeah.
Whereas free product is like, it's great when, like, let's say it's Wilson Volleyball. It's like, bro, I'll take as much free product as possible.
Yeah.
But when it comes to, I don't know, board shorts or sunscreen, like, hey, these guys are using your name, image, and likeness to sell their product,
and giving you $34 worth of product,
right?
Basically. Or like
which costs them like $5.
Yeah, even sunglasses and stuff, which I get. Like, everyone has to wear sunglasses, and
right.
Why would you not take free Oakleys or whatever?
Right. But sponsorships is like a huge portion of your income as a professional beach volleyball player.
Yeah, I'm pretty into sponsors. Shout out Kona Brew. So the 4-man event is happening on
October 23rd in Austin, Texas, at Aussie's Beach Bar and Grill.
And if people can come, then try to come. You need a ticket to get in, but if not, then maybe you're just going to have to wait for the content and follow everyone on social.
Yeah, we're not sure if we're going to live stream it yet, because we want to make sure this event has as many people at it as possible, because I know better than anyone that if I can watch it on TV, even if it's down the street of like,
right.
I know, just put it on TV.
Yeah.
Plus, like, if with the live stream, if it's just, we don't have the capability or the budget to do it live the way we would want to,
right?
Which is why we like do it all in post, because it gives us time to pick the right camera angles. And I honestly don't know how Amazon or anyone for that matter does live broadcasts with like multiple cameras.
Infinite money.
It's crazy. So we're not there yet. I think one day we could be. That's maybe like the next frontier, is doing it live. But if we were to do it live, like with an event like this, like, I wouldn't say like, let's do it pay-per-view or anything, but like, how about $2 to watch it? Like, I mean, it's an all-day event, or $5.
I think that our fans are like volleyball specific fans, whereas other sports, a passerby might just be like, okay, I'll watch the game. It's on.
Yeah.
Like, I like sports, whatever. Basketball's on.
Yeah.
Our fans are like, if you're watching volleyball, you're watching it for a reason. You're like, yeah, I'll pay freaking $5. Like,
well, especially
it's not a big
like
deal.
when you know where like the money is going. It's like, it's going into the pot.
And if you're showing up to this event and paying for a ticket, it's like, I'm literally paying these athletes to show up in my hometown and play in front of me.
Yeah.
Is it worth, I don't know, what's admission?
$30.
I would pay $50.
Yeah.
$100 to see my favorite athletes.
Dude, it's
in my hometown, like in a whatever, with only a few hundred people around.
Yeah.
And like, I had so many fans come up to me. We recently played in Myrtle Beach Open and went to another event in the Outer Banks in North Carolina, and everyone I was talking to was like, the coolest thing about volleyball is how approachable you guys are and how much access we have to you guys.
Yeah.
Whereas if I go to a basketball, football, whatever, like, I can't even come near them. The coolest thing is like a kid being near, like on the top of the freaking tunnel and being like, oh my God, he threw his sweatband up to me, or like looked at me.
That's so true.
For us, it's like we're walking back to the players and I'm like, oh, excuse me, I'm trying to get through here. And it's like the star of the whole event that you're at.
That's such a good point. Like, that is a huge aspect to be, and I think that's why like the fans in beach volleyball are such strong fans. They can walk up to an Olympic gold medalist and be like, can I get a hug and a selfie?
Yeah.
And everyone says yes.
Yeah. Right. Because we're not like mobbed every day of our lives.
Right.
When we go to breakfast, it's like, where you just have to like draw a line. For us, it's like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like, this is only a thing for us at volleyball events. So
wait, you know who I am? Yeah, of course, dude.
yeah, it's like, wow, this is cooler for me than you.
I was at Chicago, and Madison and I didn't play this year because we were both injured. And I'm like sitting filming, and it's like this little kid comes up to me. He's like, "Dude, can you just sign my wallet? I don't have anything for you to sign." I'm like, "Really? You need to sign your wallet?" And Michael Gomez took a picture of it. I'm freaking signing a guy's wallet. So and then his friend came up after. He's like, "Dude, can you just sign my math homework?" I swear to God, math homework and wallet. I was like, "This is ridiculous." But
that's great.
Yeah,
Cool.
We're talking about it now on the podcast. It's freaking
yeah.
So, anyway, I think the 4-man is going to be super fun. I just personally love the whole concept of 4-man because, we both started playing indoor.
Yeah.
And then beach is a totally different. I mean, it's volleyball is in the name of the sport, but it's so much different than indoor volleyball.
Yeah, which I love.
Yeah, I mean, it's less of a team sport though. Right?
For sure, yeah.
And when you have 4s, there's just a lot that you can do with the game. It becomes less of a chess match like how beach volleyball is.
Yeah.
But it brings a lot of the best aspects of indoor volleyball without the roof, and now you have like the beach vibe and lifestyle.
It's a perfect combination, which obviously the numbers like literally right in between 2 and 6. But indoor to me is a little too much of a team sport. Like, why are there 6 guys standing on the sideline?
Yeah.
And I used to be that guy where I stand in the freaking box.
Yeah.
And I fly overseas.
Yeah. I mean, we've all been there.
Yeah, we've all been that guy.
Yeah.
Just from an entertainment standpoint, and like, why is that guy over there just standing there doing nothing?
Yeah.
Like that's how I think nowadays.
Yeah.
Especially when I watch like baseball or basketball, and then I look up their salaries. I'm like, wait, he's making $10 million. Make him do push-ups on the sideline at least. Like, this is BS.
I know. Hopefully one day, both volleyball and beach volleyball will get there.
Yeah.
To where it's like no struggles. Everyone, you're in the top echelon, and that is your
if you make
job.
it, you make it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I mean, I kind of like when I think about you guys and like what you guys are doing in terms of branching out and creating your own niche and like taking things into your own hands in terms of, the tour's not putting me out there enough. They're not creating this, brand identity for me, and they're not doing this and that. Like, I've learned if you sit back and want someone else to do it, you're just going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
Whereas you guys kind of took the reins and just started doing it yourself, and also showed a lot of other people what's possible. And then it also puts a lot more like power into the players' hands.
Sure.
Because we have no leverage if we just sit back and be like, okay, like, where do you want us to play? It's the only way we can make money is if you make an event for us. So yeah, we'll do whatever you say. Whereas well, we're players over here putting on our own events, and sponsors are getting on board, and we all help each other here. Yeah. So you can sit back, or we can do something on our by ourselves. That's your choice. That
is cool that, before, when we first did like a first couple like 4-man things or whatever the events that we put on, it used to be like, hey guys, would you be interested in playing this? But like now we're actually providing like real value, and it's like, hey, if you come and play in this, we're gonna pay for your whole flight, and you guys get to take home a lot of prize money, and it's literally only 2 matches that you have to play.
That's like the greatest thing for an like when I first came out, I was a little spoiled because I got like I played in like, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 exhibitions, but like one of them was I went to Miami Open of tennis. We played outside. We all got paid like, I want to say like $5,000.
Okay.
Just straight up $5,000. Show up. I played with Kerry Walsh for 1 game. I played with Hayden for a game. It was just for fun. I was literally in the training room with Serena Williams, Djokovic, getting a massage in the same room as them, which I don't know why they put us in there. And we were put up in this sick hotel, and like I was like, oh, this is the pro athlete. Like, I'm with Phil Dahlhauser and Carrie and Nick and Rosie when I was young, and I was like, this is like the good stuff where there's no pressure. You're just getting paid to show up and like show face and have fun. and then I never got it ever since. So then when you guys put it together, like, oh, we're gonna stay in a mansion. Like, I know you guys are gonna document it. You know, it's a bunch of good people. We're gonna show up for the fans, play for fun. You're gonna make, you know, you're not gonna lose money on the trip. You could make some. Yeah. I'm like, this is epic. Like, no brainer.
Yeah, it's cool to see like that how into it all the players were. You know, it went from being like, hey, would you guys be interested in playing this? We're like, hey, you got the invite.
Yeah, right,
like,
exactly.
You guys are you in or are you out? And everyone is like, I'm in.
Yeah. Well, that your guys' social presence, like your following, is probably has a lot to do too. It's like the more time you can spend on the McKibbin channel, the better.
Well, that's great. Like, and that's like the whole point too. Is like, what is it? Like the rising tide rises all ships or something like that. Yeah. So, like if you blow up on YouTube and so does like April and I don't know, someone like,
exactly.
We're not competing for eyeballs because now like we can do collaborations and like I can help you, you can help me, and like we all start growing. So being able to include like, what are we at, 16 pros, and then dude, the Texas teams are no joke.
I know, that's
the last 4-man that we threw here. They beat the California team. No, they almost beat the California team. And
the Cali team was pro?
The Cali team was Casey Patterson, Troy Field, Jeremy Casepier, and Kame. They won in the third set, which was to 15, like 22-20, because one of the guys took the serve with their hands.
No way.
Otherwise, I mean, dude, it was so close. So they're actually really good. So there's no like guarantee here that you get an easy ride into the finals.
4s and 2s is a lot different.
Yeah.
And like the player skill sets.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I'm stoked we have Taylor Sander coming straight off indoor, because he remembers how to just.
And I think like the sand there is gonna be like pretty jumpy too, so he's gonna.
And Taylor can adapt to whatever.
Yeah, I think the matchup's gonna be kind of interesting. When we were like going through it, the initial idea was to keep all the Hawaiians together, including Taylor, who I'm pretty sure is either Hawaiian or Samoan. Sander.
Yeah, probably.
He's some Polynesian.
Okay.
And so it's like, perfect.
We're gonna have to give him a new name.
But we thought your team was like too stacked. However, you guys don't have an indoor setter.
Right.
You'll have Trevor setting.
Right.
So he's not going to be able to capitalize on Taylor Crab's speed and also Taylor Sanders' speed.
You hear that, Trevor?
Yeah. You make it this far on the podcast?
Set.
Well, you guys can switch.
And can you set the middle?
That's
Me back in the middle, bro?
That's right. Oh,
can I power tip,
know.
by the way?
I think we're going no.
I don't want to power
open hand tip.
I don't think we should.
But
it's too easy.
Yeah, so
that was like my favorite.
It's gonna be interesting
playing middle, just like.
Bro, you're so good.
I didn't want to play middle.
Nobody can
but
dig
that was
those
like
chops.
My pride and joy was like being able to step in at any time and be able to just like it's not that hard.
Yeah.
But then I'm gonna stay outside because I want to play all the way around. Plus, I had you setting me most of the time, and that was like your specialty.
Yeah, I know, that's true. I remember so stoked. The couple of practices we did that. I was like, bro, let's leave him in, but we couldn't.
Damn it.
It was too much of a waste.
Yeah.
At the outside. If we just if Taylor Crab just came to SC instead of going to Long Beach, put him on the outside.
Sander and Crab both.
I know.
Were acting like they wanted to come to SC.
They came on their recruiting trip. To SC together and stayed at me and Try's apartment.
Oh God!
And I mean,
we can't tell you the story.
I got pictures still though.
Oh, okay, good.
Legendary pictures.
Just put it this way: we sent him back to home in the morning with our head coach, and he had stuff drawn all over his face. So our head coach had to take him home to shower to his own home. To shower him off before he put him on the plane back to Hawaii.
Yeah, it was that's the only recruiting trip that I remember that we hosted. It was that fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, by the end of it, we told Fergie, our coach, was like, dude, guaranteed they're both coming here.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Guaranteed. You're welcome. And then One goes to BYU and one goes to Long Beach.
Yeah, that was brutal.
That would have changed.
Basically, they're legit the two best outsides.
They're MVP.
Yeah. Oh, they were, huh? Oh, yeah.
Taylor's.
That makes sense.
Yeah, both of them. One, I think Taylor's junior is MVP, and Sander was his senior year.
Oh, good times, man. The SC days.
Yeah, I know.
Let's
so long ago.
Let's roll it back, just so, since you're getting your own episode here, just so our fans kind of know the Riley story. They probably, you've told a few of your, what did you call it on YouTube? I don't know. I thought there was like a title to it. Anyway.
It's just like the talk stories of the sports stories.
Yeah.
The title of the video I made of you?
No, of you. The one.
Oh, Rise of the Benchwarmer.
Yes, Rise of the Benchwarmer.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which kind of tells the story a little bit, but let's dial it back for our fans and just kind of tell the Riley story like from the beginning.
Whew, from the beginning.
But it doesn't have to, we can do abbreviated version.
So 1988, I was born.
There we go.
And then 2
Mom,
years
Diana,
later,
Dad Angus.
Madison was born. It's brutal. I was kidding.
Well, that's actually a crazy part of the story is that, so you're born, Madison 2 years later, and then Jameson, how many years later?
9 years after Madison.
9 years later. So you're 11 years old.
Yeah.
Which actually speaks a lot, like, because I've known you for so long, to, like, your personality and how you've developed and, like...
Sure.
Because, like, I never had a younger sibling.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, I've seen you over the years, like, how you act around Madison and around Jameson, and I know that's like, a huge character developing thing.
Sure, yeah. That makes sense. It was funny, first time Jameson held my daughter, Storm. I was like... It was kind of trippy. I was like, I've changed both your guys' diapers.
That's so weird.
Jameson's.
And you probably remember, like, you're old enough to remember, like, I mean, for sure you are, like, holding your little brother as a newborn.
It actually was, like, really helpful because I wasn't as nervous or, like, freaked out that a baby was on the way. I was like, oh, this is just round 2, basically. Because I, like, had to change all of Jameson's diapers and, like, put him to sleep and... watch him overnight or take him on trips, and I was like, oh, this is just got to start over again.
Right. But this one I get
20 years
I get
later.
To custom build this one.
Yeah, that's true.
Jameson was built by Mom, Dad, Madison.
Yeah.
Now it's just you and Carly building one.
Yeah.
Which is such a trip.
I know. But now we all have girls.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a girl McKibbin in like 40 years.
That's pretty wild.
My mom has 5 brothers, and they all have
40 years.
They all have boys, and then on my dad's side, it's the same. He has 5 brothers, 2 sisters, and all boys.
I wonder if you broke down the odds. Like, what are the odds of that happening?
I feel like the odds were so good that I was gonna have a girl.
Right. Yeah. That's wild.
It's like, all right, it's time.
Yeah.
And of course but I honestly wanted a girl, so it just sounds like
I love having a girl. I want to have a boy. I like variety.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't know. It just like allows you to like drop your macho-ness ego and just be like, I'm just gonna freaking embrace having a little feminine little girl, and it's an excuse to just girl dad out. And, I don't know.
Yeah, it's been so fun.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for them to get to the same age so that they can start
where they're both
playing
talking
together.
Yeah,
and because Naya's just getting to the point, she just turned 2, to where she's like, I'm like, wow, I'm like talking to you.
Yeah,
like, we're like hanging out. I'm hanging out with this little girl.
Yeah, and
like teaching her stuff, which is super cool. Whereas before, you know, like where Storm's at, she's what? I don't even know.
5 months.
5 months only?
Or 5 months.
I can't even keep track. Yeah, she's just cruising.
Yeah, she's sitting there. She's like working on trying to crawl.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly. But you grew up with a volleyball family, right? Like your mom's side of the family is.
My mom played, and then a few of her brothers played.
Well, and your uncle from your dad's side, was a great player.
but he lived on the mainland, and we saw him like once every 5 years.
I probably saw him as much. I feel like I saw Uncle Owen all the time.
Yeah, you probably saw him more than I did because you were at Outrigger more than I did. And when he came home, that's where he'd go.
But like, I feel like when we went to the mainland, I like piggybacked and came along with you. So then I was at Uncle Owen's all the time, even before we went to college.
Yeah, in college we hung out with him a lot.
Yeah, and then college, I was your roommate all 4 years, and I had no car, and basically just tagged along with you, just like high school. So I went to Uncle Owen's for every fight and every football game.
Yeah, that was nice to have like some family close by where we could go and like escape downtown for a little bit.
Yeah, and he's like the young older uncle.
Yeah, at that time, how old is he? He was like late 40s, and he was basically hanging
like a
out
college
with
student.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, those were good times. And Owen, for those of you who don't know, Owen was a really good like main draw player back when the tour was like thriving. Yeah. Right, like 90s, I guess.
Yeah, he was like the Bowflex model for like 10 years, and then
he's like the male Gabby Reese, right? Wasn't she
could
like
be
the model / player who's like respectable player, but like made a living modeling. Right,
exactly.
So it's like you guys now. It's like very respectable players, but like making a living, content creating, not modeling. Same, but without the looks.
Yeah,
maybe.
You don't have to be good looking to be a content creator.
The editor. Yeah. But then, I mean, I feel like from my perspective, it was like growing up. You guys were at Punahou. Like your mom was very involved in the volleyball community. Uncle Tony, mostly outrigger. Yeah. And then, did you feel like volleyball was just like, that's like in my blood, that's just what we do in our family, or it wasn't to that extent? From the outside, it kind of looked like that, but I don't know if that was the case.
No, I loved basketball. That was like my jam. Mm-hmm. And I like refused to play volleyball. And then at some point, I remember like realizing like, I'm not gonna make the NBA. Like when I remember like looking at the stats or something, I was like, there's no one from Hawaii that's ever been in the NBA except for like Derek Lowe for a year, and I think there's one other guy.
Did he even make the NBA?
I think he played a couple.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he played a little bit.
Julian Sensley, maybe. Anyway,
dude, I don't know, but I remember there only being like one or two guys, and I was like, what are the chances?
The difference between Riley and Trevor Crabb.
Right.
Riley.
Trevor still does owe me $100 because he hasn't made the NBA yet.
I remember that from back when we were in high school. Riley and Trevor made a bet. Riley was basically what he just said. It was like, had the realization, like, no one from Hawaii is making the NBA. Unless you're like a freak out. Like, hopefully it happens one day. But like, not at 6'2" and whatever, you know. You have to be a freak.
Wasn't even 6'2" then, too. And I was like...
And you have to be... If you want to play NBA and you're from Hawaii, like, you better be on the mainland every weekend at the camps and like playing against these kids up here. Yep. You could be the best player by far in Hawaii, and you're like barely going to get a D1 chance, like scholarship or anything.
Right, and I mean, so anyway, at some point I realized that Trevor never. I think the writing's kind of on the wall for him now. I bet he'd pay up, but every time I ask him, he's like, "Still time. There's still time."
And that's the epitome of Trevor Crabb. Yeah. If you want to know who he is, just this relentless like craziness. I don't know what you want to call it.
Yeah, I mean.
And
that guy, you know what he is? He's a manifester.
A manifester.
He's like, I'm going to be the best in the world at beach volleyball.
And we're like, okay, Trevor, yeah.
No, you're not. And everyone tells him, no, you're not. He's like, yes, I am. And does it.
You're like, you're crazy, dude.
It's unbelievable.
And then he's on the pier twice.
I still want to. I want to make like at least a few videos on that guy because and I don't even think he's really aware of it.
He's like a case study. Yeah. Like for a psychologist.
Totally. But I think there's like some valuable lessons you can learn from him. And like... Totally. You know, he didn't make it to the NBA, but I mean, he's at the top of the AVP beach game. And if you had asked anyone, or if you had told anyone that 20 years ago down at Outrigger, or even 10 years ago, they would have laughed in your face.
But he would have been saying it. Yeah. Like he's been running his mouth since day one. Yeah. And everyone's just like, oh my God, Trevor's just running his mouth.
but he made it happen. Yeah. So I think that's super impressive. honestly, I mean, like, I made that video Rise of a Benchwarmer, but like what you could easily make a much better video about Trevor.
Yeah, for sure.
With that same, just Rise of a Benchwarmer 2.
Right. Oh, totally.
Reloaded.
Yeah, and then like what he went through in college, like obviously played basketball, and he didn't even play high school. He went to the best volleyball high school in the country, hands down, especially at that time with how much talent you guys had at Puno, and he didn't play.
Yeah.
He's like...
And he would have easily started.
And the coach begged him to.
Yeah,
like
we all
Peter
did.
Balling, everyone's like, dude,
And then
Trevor.
At some point I was like, I'm not asking Trevor again.
Yeah, we're over it.
Yeah,
We're going to win the state title
him.
anyway. But yeah, he didn't play. He played club because me, Brad, Reese were playing, I think. And like we got to like roll from outrigger straight to practice and like grab Slurpees and goof around. You guys couldn't goof around at Puno, whereas Dave Shoji at club was like, I already coach a serious team and I can't handle these kids. Yeah. I'm just going to let them go. So it was really just like for fun hanging out with his friends, which is why Trevor kept playing volleyball.
So I played, from 10 or 11 all the way to 8. So like 7, 8 years, 9 years with Kavika, Eric, Spencer, that whole group. Yep. And then my last year, they all graduated. Yeah. And I played with you on your team. And like the change in like culture was like, we went from like a 10 in seriousness to a 1. It was unbelievable.
But the talent maintained.
But we still medaled.
We still played pretty good. We kind of choked.
Yeah, we kind of choked. We lost to freaking Pally. Oh. Didn't see that one come. We had no middles, though.
Yeah, we tried to bring a basketball player over to play middle. That didn't work. Spencer McLaughlin, he should have played with us.
You know, he regrets not playing with us. Tell me, he's like,
I could see
regret
that.
it. He did like the national team.
Junior national team was going on at the same time, which obviously you have to play in that at that age.
We were bummed about that though, because then we could have put you in the middle.
I would have been in the middle, been game over.
Game over.
But then maybe I wouldn't have got recruited as an outside and gotten into SC.
That's
potentially.
True. That's true. We still would have found a way, probably.
Yeah, you just would have had to write a better essay.
Oh,
that's cool to say, right? Like they can't take away my degree.
Yeah. I mean, those things that was before like the digital age.
I know we've told that story, but should we just?
I had to leave that out. I had to leave that out of the video. I was like, I don't think this moves the story along. It just takes it on a different road.
Right.
So I just omitted that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that proud of it. Like, I wouldn't recommend it for other people.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't say it.
All right. Sorry, people.
Basically,
Riley helped me get it.
Yeah, I just helped try edit his essays. I'm a good editor these days.
You did edit. I did write some.
Yeah, you're right.
You came in. I wrote, and then he pressed the backspace button a few times. And then I got into SC.
Yeah.
The rest is history.
Oh, man.
Good times.
Bro, we could literally do this podcast every day and have a new freaking story.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. So many good memories. That was a cool time, like, at the end of high school, I guess, like, junior, senior year, where we started hanging out more. I feel like we both kind of started aligning, and, like, you always took things really seriously and, like, had, like, a vision of, like, I'm going to go to college and like, be legit at this and blah, blah, blah. Like, you wanted to go to Harvard at one point.
Well, which, like, I didn't think I was good enough to play D1. So I was like, I'm going to get really good grades so that way, and I'll use volleyball to get me into, like, a good school. Because, like, competing against, really, really smart kids who have devoted their lives to education, it's like, I can't compete there. But if I have volleyball as well, that'll be my strategy.
Totally.
But then I just ended up getting better at volleyball. And I was like, oh, now I got a letter from SC. And I remember being like super bummed about it. Like, oh, any school but SC.
I know. I was kind of anti too a little bit.
Because they used to always come to Hawaii and just dump on our football team. Yeah. And like, that's the closest thing to a professional team we have in Hawaii.
The thing that flipped me on SC was you going on your recruiting trip. And you're like, bro, the parties are sick. It's so sick. All this, like, I'm going to SC. I was like, what? You got into Stanford, and you're like, only Riley would freaking pass up on Stanford?
Well, the Stanford offered me 1% scholarship,
Oh, really?
whereas SC's was like
Basically full.
way higher.
Yeah.
So it more came down to that, and Kavika just went to Stanford, and the last thing I wanted to do was sit behind him for 3 years for like my one shot at freaking my 1 year at playing. It's like, this isn't worth it.
Yeah, no.
It's not.
It was basically your club team. Inafuku,
Yeah, I know.
Eric,
Spencer, Kavika,
and then Brad after. Brad came with Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been like outrigger.
Yeah, except I'd be freaking
You'd be on the bench. Unless they put Kavika at outside or something.
Yeah.
He could play.
Honestly, I mean...
Are you regretting it?
No.
Hell no.
I'm a better setter than Kavika. I was, at least. Maybe not now. He's been playing for a bit longer, but...
That's what I don't like is...
I could locate way better.
I hate that you never got to... Like, I feel like you never really got the recognition that you deserve as a setter. And beach, by the way. I'm still waiting for it.
He's got to get healthy
because just for whatever, high school is like shoji's, and Kavika's like an amazing leader, team guy, and like super smart, and like he's got all the pieces and whatnot. I mean, this isn't about comparing to Kavika, but I feel like even overseas, like you could have played longer. And when you did go, you were like the backup.
Yeah.
And then like at practice, like fucking beat the guys out. In college, you came in behind Killian, took a few reps at practice. Like within the first month or so, I was like, dude, I can smash Killian. Like, they suck. Watch this. Like at every level. Yeah. And I feel like you could have done that at whatever level. Like the sky's the limit. But what I'd also really like is that you didn't get sucked into that pipeline. Like, oh, I'm good, so I have to do it this way. Or,
yeah.
Even with beach. Like that's why I say, like, right now, I'm like, people don't understand how good you are at beach, like, how much you know the game, and, like, even you, I don't think, know it as much as I think you would be good, like, if you had taken that, like, specific path, but I don't think it's for you. Like, you need to be stimulated with the business and the creative and the and playing and, like, a piece of everything.
Dude, I hear you saying, and
I could be wrong, too.
No, I really appreciate it, because, I mean, like, number one, I think it is like a difficult journey when you're not like overlooked, but you always have to like battle for your spot.
Right.
I think. But there's also like a lot of reward that comes with that. And then now I'm just at the point where it's like, where do I put my time and energy? And to be at the best in this sport especially, dude, I mean, you have to train so hard, and you have to commit like your life to it.
Yep.
And even at that point, there's still like a huge risk because of the amount of tournaments there are, and like how difficult the qualifier can be, and
you're only 6.
It's really hard, and I mean, dude, if people knew like how much time you put in, like when Madison and I followed you that one day.
Yeah.
I mean, you train like for 2.5 hours at the beach, and then you drive an hour and a half, or you drive an hour, 45 minutes to train for an hour and a half. And like after that,
there's USA after that.
Yeah, I mean, there's no time, but I think one of the advantages with our sport is like, because it's not mainstream, there's like a lot of opportunities to be made, and there's a lot of gaps to fill. And like right now, that's super rewarding. I think just mentally and creatively, that it's hard to balance our energies, because it's like what Fergie, our coach, he told me once after that Canada trip, he's like, you can only be good at 2 things. You can be great at school, volleyball, or social life. You have to choose 2. You can't choose all 3. And I feel like now, especially having a daughter, you can't be great at both of these things.
Yeah. But we're
gonna try. we're still gonna try.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about that earlier. You really don't understand the value of your time until you have a kid. Because like now you're like, I can't do everything. Whereas before I could just stay up till like 10 o'clock and finish a project. But like now that's, 4 hours of time that I should be spending with my daughter. I'm like, I'm not going to freaking sacrifice that.
Yeah.
I just can't.
That's such a good perspective to have. Like the thing that's become like clear to me in terms of like, I don't know what specific life is going to make me happy and like is the best life to live. So like cause you have to, we're constantly making this life, right? And for me, it's like, figure out your priorities, and then every decision that you make in terms of how you're spending your time, which we only have a finite amount of, go through your checklist. Okay, what's the priority? Family? You said it's family, right? You've thought about it, that's family. Okay. Is daughter, wife, family taken care of? Okay, then now we can move on to friends, like for me.
Yeah.
Okay, now we can move on to work and like your passions. And I think health is actually higher on that list. Yeah. But like for me, I have to check all those before I get to volleyball or like career and like the fun stuff. And then the fun, like me surfing, getting in the water is a pretty high priority too. I think that kind of falls down the list at this point just because I'm trying to pursue something important. But I think that's the big thing, like knowing your priorities. Yeah. Because you can't know what's the right decisions to make all the time. Yeah. But if your priorities are straight, then you can... Because I think people always get sucked into like, well, what should I do right now? I'm going to do work. Because you're always trying to get better or make more money. There's always like that. Right. You can always make more money.
Well, I think like you get stuck in this phase of like, or like this perpetual phase of growth. Like, oh, I'm building. And then it's like, at what point do you need to get out of that phase, Right. And I think like you sacrifice a lot for that phase, but sometimes you just need to stop and like, okay, that's built now. Right. Let's go and like spend time here and like let's take a break because I mean, I know Madison and I, we grinded for so long, and then I just finally told him, I was like, dude, at what point what point are we gonna be satisfied?
Right. Yeah.
Because when you first start out on YouTube, you're like super stoked on like 100,000 views, and then, or like, let's say 10,000 views, and then you're like, oh bro, we got 100,000 on one. 200. Like a couple of our videos have 1 million. It's like, at what point is like enough? And now it's not about that anymore. Luckily, like we had like the presence of mind to take a step back, like, okay, let's stop with that obsession and like let's make stuff that makes us happy or that is meaningful. Yeah. So we switched to stories, putting on these events. So I don't know. I think there's a pretty cool opportunity to change the game a little bit. Yeah. And it's cool that, our group of friends from when we were little kids are all doing it together. Yeah.
Dude, totally. That's like what excites me the most. I know I always get like super excited about like, oh bro, let's just all do it the Hawaiians. Like, I've been pitching like I want us to get, which I gotta do it, like get us like a patch and just make like, cause like
that's gonna fall on me and you for sure. Cause
perfect. Yeah, let's do it.
It's not. It shouldn't be that hard too. No. Just got coming up with the name is the hardest part.
Yeah, we need a name for sure, but like, the way I've been thinking about stuff lately is like going back to kind of what we were talking about is like. Think about it from the mindset of like your retired self. Because eventually you have to retire and just say, okay, there we go. That's what I did in my career. That's what I did. Now I'm cruising. Yeah. Whatever. Maybe not even retired, like old and on my deathbed kind. But like if you make decisions from that mindset, like, okay, when I'm old, am I going to be like, oh, I played volleyball and I grinded it out and I competed against everyone and burned bridges with my own friends and did this and that? Or would I be like, damn, I wish we just all like grouped up and had fun and like freaking made a little clan and had fun with fans and like I made like 10 grand less 15 20 50 grand less like you're on your deathbed, you're gonna be like, Bro, that's nothing. Like, I don't know where that money went. This literally means nothing to me now.
You don't want to be dying and be like, bro, I was the third best in the world.
Should I go? Yeah, exactly.
You know, like.
And that's crazy for me right now because I'm like, I just made the freaking Olympics. I freaking pulled it off.
Yeah.
And won Manhattan, like back to back. Those are like the biggest.
Right. So you hit those.
I hit them.
And then now it's like
I'm
what's gonna get you that high again?
Yeah.
And there's not much that can like beat that, right?
And that is something that I've been thinking about a lot. And I'm like, what I'm taking this specific time, this first month or two of off season to do is like legitimately tell myself I don't have a team, I don't have a partner, I don't have a coach, I don't have an obligation to play ball, I don't owe the sport anything. I can go any direction I want because I achieved what I wanted.
Yeah.
Because you feel like, oh, I'm in my prime.
Well,
like I'm coming into my prime. I'm playing good. I'm at the top, and everyone's telling me, Paris, try. You're gonna be great in Paris. I'm like, brah, like I don't need to commit to that.
Well, it's trippy when you hit your goal.
Right. Yeah.
Like
right.
When you hit your life goal.
It puts things in perspective.
Because like once you hit that, you're like, now what? You know, and it can be, and I think like the times where I've like floundered is when I don't find a goal.
Right.
After that.
Yep.
And that I'm interested to hear like how you feel about that because I remember that was your ultimate goal, make the Olympics.
Yeah.
And you hit it, and then I remember you saying like it was amazing for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it's like then it's done.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, now what? Right?
Yeah. And it's so anticlimactic. It's like really like cements in my mind that it's not about that moment.
Yeah.
You're not like in the Olympics and there's this crazy high.
Yeah.
You know, like there's highs and lows, and there's also like this expectation that it doesn't live up to, especially because it's a COVID Olympics, and I defaulted to get there or whatever.
But whatever. I mean.
Yeah, but then again, I look back. I'm like, my goal was to experience being an Olympian at the Olympics with the greatest athletes in the world. Like, what does that feel like? You know, like I want to look eye to, because I've loved professional athletes my whole life. And I want to look eye to eye with all the best in the world and be like, yep, I'm one of you. And I like experienced that. Yeah. And I thought about it after. I was like, I did it. Holy crap. Like I can say that now. I can wear this Olympic stuff and be like, this, like I used to feel weird putting a Team USA shirt. I don't want people to think I'm an Olympian because like that felt weird. Yeah. It weirdly kind of feels weird to me now. But now that I've reached it, I'm totally like, it solidifies in my mind that it's about growth. The fun part, the good part is going from, like I picture a stairway going into the clouds. Uh-huh. It's nothing to do with religion, heaven. It's infinite. But like the best part is freaking taking one step up. Yep. And just going to the next one.
That's actually really good.
It's not about getting anywhere, because every time you step up, one step comes out of the clouds. And there's infinite. But like the part you really enjoy,
it just adds a step to the top.
Like, yeah, it's fun taking steps.
That's actually great. That's the exact same conclusion I came to too. Like, it's not about getting somewhere, and it like kills me how many times people say it's like about the process.
Right.
But it's also not about comparing yourself to others. Yeah. Which can like just destroy you.
The ego is crazy.
And like it's so hard to understand that when you're younger, like 18 to 27.
The ego is just
all about ego.
Roaring.
Like, I'm better than you.
Yeah.
And I'm better than you. And then you're like,
so much is pissing you off.
And that ego is just like, it's super limiting. Yeah. And then once you just make it about yourself, and as much as like I'm saying this is like, if you're 22 or if you're 18 to 27 years old, this is going to go in one ear and out the other, because I mean, it did to me as well. Yeah. But once you like understand that, then life gets like a lot more enjoyable and way easier. Yeah. You know, because then it's just about how good can you get at your craft.
And you can be like super compassionate and happy for others, and it builds your relationships. Whereas like when you're comparing and like you know, this young egotistical thing, which I feel like our group kind of went through it a little bit.
For sure, yeah. I did it with you, did it with Spencer for like during college, and it's it's just a giant like kind of rat race of egos, and then you get to a point you're like, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
And like once you realize like, dude, everyone can win together.
Yeah, right.
You know?
And like looking back, like what's the most valuable thing when you look back on high school, college? It's like, dude, hanging with my friends.
Yeah.
Meeting these people.
Yeah.
It's usually always about the people.
Yeah.
Like that's usually all the valuable things when you look back on stuff.
It's true.
It's like, oh,
that's true.
It wasn't like when I look back on the Olympics, it's like, dude, I freaking was arch nemesis with Jake, and like didn't really get to know Rich that well, and I know Nick well, but like we all bonded on like a whole nother level, especially me and Jake, where like I saw that intensity that all his partners love in him, and blah blah blah. Like that's what when I look back, I'm like, what was it? What are the things you remember? It's like freaking like connecting with Jake, like being on that pressure stage with him and seeing like deep into his soul, and like, oh,
that's a good point.
Like that's kind of
weird
and I didn't even like the guy.
Yeah.
But like that's the stuff I remember, and like connecting with Rich and being with him a lot. I was like, I guess that's the important stuff. If that's all I remember from all my favorite moments is like the relationships.
Well, it's weird. You like, at least for me, I don't remember like anything during the game. I remember, like, I can't remember a single.
I'm like a freaking goldfish, dude.
Dude,
I don't
it's
know
unreal.
Score or anything.
Like, I don't remember any. I don't remember like a bounce or like a hit. I'll remember like some of the celebrations for like the big ones, but outside of that, like the game is I black out.
For example, like me, I'm picturing Manhattan Beach Open final, right? I remember walking back to serve and grabbing the ball and like noticing that all eyes were on me, and like that song Tupac, All Eyes on Me. I was like, this is a dope moment, because like I knew that I was like feeling it. I was in my zone. I wasn't going to leave my zone, and I was controlling the pace of the game.
Yeah.
I'll get the ball when I want it. I'm going to go to my spot. Everyone's like,
Yeah.
But it wasn't even really a part of the game.
Right.
Like, that was what I remember was like, I know everyone's watching me. Like I can feel it, and my vision is like not focused on one thing. I'm focused on everything at once. It's very broad, and like, and I was under control. I wasn't like egotistically like, dude, look, this is my moment. I'm sick. I didn't give a shit about what anyone thought. It was just like, yep, this is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. When you're in like God mode.
Yeah, basically.
That's those are like the moments that I search for. It's just like when you just, I mean, that's.
But that can come. It doesn't even need to be like in a crowd. Like that moment for me, it was like another moment I'll think about is like being next to my daughter at night, just realizing that I have a little human. That
I know.
Like that's the same feeling.
Yeah.
Right? Which is kind of crazy.
I know.
That trips you out being a parent.
It really does. I mean, I'll tell Carly like every other day, it's like, I can't believe this is our daughter. I mean, it took me a long time for me to get comfortable saying my daughter.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's so trippy.
Walking with a stroller and stuff in public.
I know.
Like, oh, I'm that guy now?
Yeah.
I guess we're getting old, but you know what? I think it's time for a Kona break.
Ooh, yeah, perfect.
So we're going to take a little pause in the action and go grab a Kona brew from the mini fridge in the SANDCAST studio. And we're back. That may have seemed quick to you, but it's actually a nice little break for us. Enough to go to the fridge and grab a Kona Spiked Island Seltzer. I got Starfruit Lime.
Honestly, these are like the best seltzers, I think.
That's what a lot of people say.
I got Strawberry Guava. These are solid.
It's pretty solid. But I know I kept you a long time, and when you're a dad, I know can be difficult. But I did want to ask just like where you guys are at health-wise, like because obviously you mentioned earlier that you and Maddie were injured. That's why you never played this season. How are you guys looking now moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I actually had physical therapy today, working with this guy, Eric Odoriga. He's in El Segundo. And yeah, I got surgery on my knee right after my daughter was born, so 5 months ago. And I had like a little cyst on my ACL, which was like so random. I remember we went to that little
Yeah, we went camping.
Camping,
Mount
yeah.
Baldy.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it. By
And I
the way.
couldn't
Quick
freaking
little
walk
getaway.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Because my knee was, I thought it was my meniscus.
Yeah,
but
you thought you had torn your meniscus.
Yeah,
So it was
I thought
actually a
for sure.
good thing that
Yeah.
we thought.
Kind of, yeah. But
At the
I
time.
had got surgery and it just like didn't heal great. Like I still couldn't extend it. So I've just been trying to battle through rehab and just kind of reteach myself how to do everything.
Yeah, at least it was a short season though. And
Yeah.
and like I had COVID my daughter's first year, and I got to be there the whole time, and not be like on tour traveling and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you had surgery and
Yeah.
you know it's still kind of a COVID year, so you got to
Right.
be home and here the whole time, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. It was actually nice that the tournaments were all like within a month.
Right.
And Madison got married in between the second and third.
That was a great time, by the way.
Yeah, that was so fun. I like slept for 3 days straight after that event. But we're getting back in it. It's nice that we have like some time.
Yeah.
It's still October.
You guys are basically just planning on being fully ready for next year.
That's the plan. I'm still a little worried about my knee because, I mean, it's been 5 months now and it's not perfect. I haven't even like tested it out jumping, just trying to get like the balance and strength back. But I'm optimistic about it. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
And then Maddie's just nursing. He's kind of had
He's
a
got,
nagging
like-
thing, yeah?
He's had like this shin problem. He had to get surgery when he was in college. They put like a steel plate in there or whatever, metal. And when he plays, like every now and then it just starts acting up again. And I don't know. I mean, I think it just comes down to like after that COVID year, we were like so sedentary for so long, and then to get back up full speed, ramp it up, and then to go back and do nothing again for a full year. And you got 3 tournaments in August. It was just like a bad scenario for us, especially since like the demands on our other job are so high that it's easy to rationalize like, okay, I'll just I'll start getting ready in January. But like I think what we've realized is once you hit 30, you have to stay in shape. You can't like cycle in and out like
I'm
how
learning
you could.
so much with age. Like, luckily, I've been under, the older guys for a while.
Yeah.
Traveling on tour with them, kind of watching from afar, and then obviously hiding. But like, I'm starting to learn like the things that they were telling me the whole time. Before, it was like a 20-year-old. Like you tell them like, okay, sucks, old guy. And I don't feel old, but I do like notice like, okay, your body adapts to what you do. So like, if I keep putting load and impact on my body, it stays ready for that. But like, I just took 2 weeks off and I played a little and lifted, and I'm in the training room today with them, and they're telling me like my Achilles are both really hurting me. My ankles, my Achilles, like they're weirdly hurting, and they're like, yeah, it's because you stopped.
Yeah.
I'm like, I rested. Like, why did I get injured by resting? They're like, yeah, that's the thing. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So I just never supposed to stop, and which is exactly the lesson. Like, what I remember, season ended, next day, like I went out in Brazil. It was Sao Paulo. I went to the club with everyone, all the players. We all partied. Hayden didn't go out. Next morning, he's in the gym, working out hard. I'm like, at that point in the season, we're like, I'm not working out for like 2 months. Like, I'm not doing anything,
Yeah.
I was like, why are you in the gym today, Hayden? You're psycho, dude.
I know.
And now I'm like, oh. And because, like, I mean, multiply it by 5, when you're in your 40s. I'm like, oh, if you stop, your body adapts to that. And he just never wanted his body to adapt. Sedentary, by the way. I heard you say that word. That's.
Yeah, I've never said it out loud, so it felt weird saying it.
I kept popping in my head. I'm like, is that right?
Is that sedentary?
I mean, I'm not gonna freaking.
I always read it, but I
sedentary.
Sedentary.
I feel like I've heard
sedentary. It's
we
the
probably
wrong.
sound like idiots right now.
It's the wrong accent on the wrong syllable.
I don't know. You're the
I don't know.
smart one. But
That's the only word I
I'm
could
excited
think
to see you guys play again at some point. Obviously.
Yeah, I
Whatever.
miss that. I miss like playing in front of like a lot of people. There's like there's not much like that in the world. So I really miss that. It's just you have to put in a lot of work to play at that level.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't just come free.
Yeah, when you're in like your 20s, you just don't understand that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like with beach, it's such an experience game, whereas indoors, like a team can really like plug you into a position, and you don't realize. At that age, you think like, "Wow, I'm this level, and I'm legit like top player in the world." But it's like you kind of got plugged in based on your skill set, and like they realize a lot more pieces that are going on to make you successful that you probably don't realize.
It's like so specialized that you can get away with a lot in that sport.
Yeah, I'm gonna plug an 18-year-old in to just because he's a freak and he can get up and put balls away.
Yeah.
And like Sprout doesn't even have to tell the 18-year-old what piece of the puzzle he is or what his role is, and you don't realize like how many other pieces are going on.
Whereas in beach, if you have like one weakness, it might not be exploited by everyone, but the top teams will find it and they will.
Yeah, right.
They'll beat you for it.
Yeah, right.
And until you get great at every skill,
right,
minus like blocking or defense, which like I obviously don't need to be a blocker ever again.
Right.
Thank God. But yeah, you just you have to develop the entire game on the beach.
Yeah,
which takes so much practice.
That's what I loved about it though, because like for me at least, growing up like Hawaiian style volleyball, which is like, you know, we're good at every skill, right? That's kind of like, that's what I call Hawaiian style.
Sure.
Like, we're ball control oriented.
Ball control, yeah.
I feel like I kind of lost my train of thought, but
well, you like take pride. You take pride in like developing all the skills that a lot of the Cali guys don't. You know, It's like all about bouncing, and
hitting,
like freaking blocking.
We never practiced that,
and that's why we would always beat them.
Yeah,
because it's like, oh, bro, the ball's supposed to go down. It's like, nope, we dug it again.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. Yeah,
and then you'd go up and like you wouldn't bounce. It's just like, oh, chizzy.
Yeah,
and that beats teams.
Yeah.
You know, and then once you grow to become 6'5" and freaking shredded like you, it's like, oh, now I can get the highest attack percentage in the Olympics.
If only I had.
Sorry, brother.
If only I had this body in high school. We tried so hard to get all jacked and put weight. It was
Could not do it.
Oh, I hit 169. Like,
it's crazy how hard it is to put on weight at that. I don't know how kids do it. It's like impossible.
Yeah.
You have to eat like double plate lunch.
It's just not normal. You're not supposed to be that big.
Plus, I mean, dude, we were like lifting, playing volleyball, and then surfing. And it's like, I don't understand why I'm not getting. If we had freaking Fitbits or Whoops.
Yeah, Whoops.
Like, it would have been like 12,000 calories.
Oh my God.
Like, I walk a mile or like 2 miles, and it's like, activity detected. I'm like, I don't even do anything. I just walked.
Oh my God, yeah, we were psycho.
Imagine like
activities back
remember
in the
we
day.
used to do that?
Just
no
surf straight to freaking.
And we'd like, bro, we have to lift.
Volleyball.
Like,
lift.
Oh my gosh.
And we're all about, I mean, pretty much all about like looks, you know, like trying to build the pecs and the.
It was better than nothing, but it wasn't.
For sure. I mean, we were doing plyometrics and all that stuff too, but yeah, we definitely watched the movie 300 a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I still got that clip. Prepare for. Remember that?
Yeah.
You filmed that?
Yep.
Dude, that's funny. That creation, it's like 40 minutes long, is like the greatest thing that I have from high school of all time.
I feel like that's kind of what sparked, because like at a young age, I was doing a lot of video with like Brad Lawson, and we were doing a lot of like goofing around with those old video recorders. But then you, at that point, you might have done it before too, but like in high school, you started getting really into it and like loving the editing, and you did it for like a class once.
Yeah.
I feel like that's when you kind of like, it's like, oh, Riley loves this stuff.
Yeah.
And now look at you. It's like,
I know,
your job.
it's kind of ironic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's like, it's so cool how you can make something about like your own life, and we've built out an audience that cares about like the stuff that we make, which is crazy. Weird, right? You know, like it. Whereas before, that was an industry that, you know, only like 5 people are allowed to make movies. But
Right.
now with YouTube, it's like anyone can be a filmmaker,
You make
movie maker.
a YouTube channel. I mean, a TV channel. Like, you have your own channel.
Yeah.
You don't think of it as a TV channel. That's like...
It's kind of what it is. I wish we could make, enough to fill it.
Right.
Like come out with a video every day. But it's
low budget TV shows.
Yeah. Just about beach volleyball, and that's it. We're trying to like figure out ways to... The whole like mission is to bring more people into beach volleyball. Almost like trick them into like caring about our stories. And
well, that's what NFL and all them are doing.
Right.
Like,
I mean,
when I really look at football, it's like, it's not a great sport. Like, spectator, like, especially if you go to a football game, it's the worst. And I've watched football since a kid. Like, I'm a huge fan.
dude,
I'm a huge Vikings fan.
There's only like 8 minutes or there's some weird stat where there's like 5 minutes of action.
Play. Yeah.
Out of a 4-hour game.
Dude. And then, yeah, like, at least when the clock's running, you're kind of engaged. Like, okay, they're in hurry up. They're doing something. Yeah. But, like, there's so much time when the clock's not running. TV timeouts, like, timeouts, like, injury, whatever. Like, if you go to a football game, you're just sitting around watching nothing. And baseball is worse.
Yeah.
Way worse.
That's why it's like, maybe the time in between points isn't that important. It's not about making our sport more mainstream. Like people talk about there's too many missed serves. But like you look at...
It's the business behind it, right? It's the entertainment that they've created.
Yeah.
Like superheroes and all that. That's what makes us watch.
Yeah.
That's what bought me in when I was a kid. Why I've been watching since the 90s.
Right.
Because I love like freaking Jerry Rice and Randy Moss.
Randy Moss, right.
Freaking Brett Favre.
Yeah.
Because they put out those... They put out a story about it.
I mean, that's like our whole strategy is like, it's all about the characters,
Yeah, exactly.
Build out the characters and then people will become fans of the sport.
Yeah.
So.
And having an impact at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about earlier, you're retired, looking back on everything, it's like,
yeah,
you can, if you had an impact, like,
yeah,
not even measurable, but like, that you made the sport better, even if it's just a little bit.
Yeah.
You helped it get to, like, and maybe the sport's way better and people are getting paid a ton and we're just sitting there like, damn it.
Yeah.
But we can at least look back and be like, we helped get it there.
Well said.
And you guys are doing that, I think.
Someone, well, there's like 2 things I want to respond to that. The first one is, the cool thing about YouTube is my great-great-great-grandchildren are all going to be able to watch these videos of their great-great-great-grandfather.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Just be like,
whoa.
It's like, oh, bro, look this is my great-great-grandpa,
Whereas we can't even find a photo.
And then, yeah, I know, right? So
that's
like,
nuts.
It's kind of cool. Like we have, I don't know, 180 videos or something now.
Should we make videos like talking to them?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I don't know what it's like in your time.
In 3024.
Yeah.
And then like the second part was someone asked me like, what's like the legacy I want to leave? And it was an interesting question, but it's like, it's not about all the things that you've done, but I think it would be cool to be part of like the group that changed everything for volleyball and beach volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
That would be cool. It's like, oh, those guys made it happen. This is what their strategy was. People are studying it, like case studies, like, bro, these guys. So I think like, I mean, it sounds lofty and like somewhat impossible, but I think it's doable. And I don't know. I think that would be that's what we're trying to do. So.
I think it's definitely doable. I mean, a lot of people, our whole careers, you've heard like, oh, it's the hottest ticket at the Olympics and blah, blah, blah. Like volleyball is one of the best spectator sports. I hear it from people that aren't fans of the sport and they just show up and they say, wow, like I didn't know how entertaining it was in